Welcome to BNEWS Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher along with BNEWS producer Sydney Bowles, BNEWS reporters Tad Stefanak, Robert Paris, Luke Marcasoli, and Varys Conley, Peter Brown with the weather, Anthony Matos with sports, and Gretchen Carey with the community calendar. Thank you for joining us. Candidates for Burlington Select Board and moderator races joined us in the BCAT studios this week to compete for your vote in the April 6th local election. Let's turn to BNEWS producer Sydney Bowles for the recap on how it all shook out.
There are 3 candidates competing for your vote for 2 spots on the Burlington Select Board, incumbent Joe Morandi and challengers Sarah Colley and Bradford Bond. Due to a death in the family, Joe Morandi was not able to join us for the debate. And a brief disclaimer, candidate Brad Bond is a member of the BCAT board. Board members don't have any special access or information and do not receive any special treatment. Sarah Colley, a town meeting member who's most known for her opposition to the Windview Heights 2 housing development, introduced herself as an experienced newcomer with a fresh perspective.
The combination of my professional experience in both the private and public sectors, my experience on town meeting and advocating for residents when they felt they hadn't been heard, as well as my personal lived experience as a woman and mom, brings a different and important point of view to the Select Board.
Brad Bond, on the other hand, highlighted his years in town government as a selling point to guide the town through financial hurdles.
Some financial challenges. Now, a reporter in town has referred to me as a veteran of town government. I suppose that's correct. I've been a member of town meeting and Ways and Means for 18 years now. On Ways and Means, I served as chair as we were coming out of the economic troubles of 2008, and I'm still proud to say that we kept the tax rate low and yet maintained services and avoided any layoffs.
The debate covered topics like housing and economic development, but paid special attention to Burlington's upcoming capital projects, the police station, the Fox Hill Elementary School, and the high school. Colley said she believes the town could finance the police station with existing funds, but supported a debt exclusion for the high school.
The quality of our schools is important to the town as a whole, but the specific building, serves a small constituency of the town. So I think it's the residents have a right to have a say in that. It is unfortunate that we're in this position with all of these buildings all at once. So much work. Yep. I have to question the lack of foresight of those in charge of the budget, like Ways and Means, for not calling attention to the declining revenues and potential bottleneck years ago and pushing for action or a clear plan sooner. But now we're here, and swift action is not only warranted but necessary.
Brad Bond said he also supported the police station and had been convinced that the Fox Hill project was a need and not a want.
There are a lot of people who want to do different things with debt exclusions and such, either to stop the project or move the project along. And I will take a stand that I want to see both projects as much as I'm gnashing my teeth at the bump in the tax rate. But that bump will be there whether we go debt exclusion or not.
Once again, incumbent Joe Morandi is also running, but was not able to attend the debate. Let's move along to the moderator debate. Here, 7-year incumbent Bill Byer is facing opposition from town meeting member Adam Sinesi. Byer introduced himself as a seasoned leader with the right expertise for the job, while Sinesi said he represented a needed change from the status quo.
I have a deep understanding of the moderator's role and its effect on the operation of town meeting process. I work to get town meeting the information and committee recommendations it needs to make decisions. My job is simply to make government work.
I'm running for this role because I believe we need a change of direction as moderator. I think that we need to bring back inclusivity to our town government and encourage everyone that's on town meeting to get involved in the committee level.
The contrast between experience and change was highlighted at the end of the debate when candidates asked questions of one another.
If there's someone makes a motion to reconsider an article, a warrant article,
okay,
how would you deal with it?
So in that instance, you would, if it's already been voted on and it's on the warrant, you can't vote on it again unless it appears on the warrant. It would have to go to a new warrant.
That's not correct, I'm afraid.
Okay, can you tell us what the answer is?
Someone can make a motion to reconsider an article, and it comes up at the end of town meeting. And there is going to be a vote at town meeting, and if 2/3 of the people decide they wish to reconsider it, they can vote it again.
Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, I'll admit that there's got to be a learning curve to this, but I'm reading Robert's rules. I'm planning to take the Mass Municipal Association's course on moderator. I've read the bylaws. I know that you've had some trouble following some of the bylaws on appointments. So, I mean, there's a learning curve for all. He said 7 years. I'll get it figured out between April and May.
But Sinesi positioned himself as a newcomer with fresh ideas.
Another thing that I'd like to do is once a year when we have a new freshman class of town meeting members, I'd like to get them all together and sort of act as a mentor for them, give them the opportunity to get to know who I am. I'd get the opportunity to know who they are, what their professional background is, and what they're interested in, what motivated them to get involved, so we can use them to the town's greatest benefit. The idea is if we create a richer and more fulfilling experience for our town meeting members, we're going to get more out of them, and so will the town.
And lastly this week, I spoke with Eileen Sickler. She's one of 2 candidates for a 3-year position on the Housing Authority here in town. Her opponent, incumbent Wally DeCoste, declined our invitation to participate. Here's Sickler.
I guess I'd just like to say that this is a good time for housing because of the push both in state and federal. There are a lot of funds out there to be had, especially with Governor Healy's, I think it's called the Affordable Homes Act, that happened last fall, well over $150 million specifically targeted to public housing. So there's that opportunity. What else? I know there's something else. So there's the money, and I just think that now's the time for a change to get some energy in there and bring some fresh ideas.
The full conversations with the candidates are available on our website, bcattv.org, and look for the Election Center 2024. BNews has one more debate on the books on Monday, March 18th. Candidates Martha Simon and Megan Nowicik will join us to talk about their visions for Burlington School Committee, so be sure to stay tuned. For BNews, I'm Sydney Bowles.
The committee advising on the future of the Burlington Police Station got its first looks at potential designs for the new structure recently. Experts from the design firm Castle Booz Associates said they heard the town values the history of the Union School and want to keep some of those design elements, so the early sketches are of a colonial building that will blend with the town's municipal campus. The current police station is 127 years old and has served the school for many decades and other uses. It was a bank for a while. I actually went there in the sixth grade, as you might know, for those of you who've been around since then. But the structure has been plagued for just as long by leaks, mold, and a design that just isn't suited for a modern police station. Designers say they hope to honor the original building in some way, maybe by creating a monument from some of the original stones or using some of the original wood trim in the new building. The sketches are expected to change, and designers say not to get too attached or too concerned as they're working with the town to develop plans. Those who are concerned about speeding in Burlington may soon have new tools at their disposal: speed humps and speed tables. Now, for the uninitiated, speed humps are gentler than your typical speed bumps, and speed tables are even gentler, longer rises and falls, but both are designed to slow traffic in residential areas. They haven't traditionally been an option in Burlington, primarily because of snowplows, but town engineer Tom Hayes has been working with the town's traffic committee to develop a draft policy for their installation.
Informally, Burlington's tried some stuff in the past, teeing up intersections, raised crosswalks, truck exclusions, time restricted, do not enters, that sort of stuff. But the town administrator, there's been a lot of call for traffic calming. As you know, traffic is a problem in Burlington. So the town administrator asked the traffic committee to evaluate various measures that can be incorporated into the rules and regulations. So what we looked at was pretty much the things we really could support were speed tables and speed humps.
The rules for the installation are still in the works, but the way it might work is residents could petition the town for a speed table on their street, and then the police department and the Department of Public Works would investigate to see if the area met a certain set of criteria. Those criteria could include things like evidence of speeding, proximity to schools or parks, high traffic volume, and a posted speed of less than 30 miles an hour. Then residents would need to secure funding, though the specific funding mechanism hasn't yet been decided, probably through town meeting. One key component is making sure a significant share of abutters actually want the project. Here's Town Administrator Paul Sagarino.
Just along with what the board's seen, we wanted to make sure that there was significant neighborhood involvement in the decision. We've had instances over the past where we approve a stop sign and then we find out that more than half the neighbors didn't want the stop sign, just a couple of neighbors wanted it. So we just want to make sure that there's really a strong measure of support in there.
Each hump or table could cost between $5,000 and $10,000. The conversation continues on a job posting listed by the Burlington School System, a lead instructional coach for diversity, equity, and inclusion at the high school. As we discussed on this program last week, the position was originally budgeted as a DEI director, but was reworked following the district's work with outside contractors. Assistant Superintendent Dr. Lisa Chen said the role was tailored to support teachers on the ground while also working closely with administration.
I understand that the DI position has been recently retooled and reposted as what many of us consider a watered-down version of what was initially agreed upon. A coach located only at the high school. This was done without any input from the people on the original equity committee that I'm aware of. Again, why?
And now my children, and I also volunteer with middle school kids, they are constantly being ambushed with information that's being pushed on them about racism. They are afraid to speak. They are afraid to talk to kids of different skin colors because oftentimes they're told they are racist if the person doesn't like what they're saying. I am very concerned that this is pulling kids apart. It's affecting their ability to make friends, to work together as a team. They're not seeing each other based on what brings them together. They're seeing themselves on skin color alone, and I think that is actually pushing things backwards.
That was actually community members Adrian Simeon and Michelle Huntoon. Let's now take a look at Dr. Chen.
I've heard folks have said this is downgraded. This is not downgraded. This is a central office position. I cannot say this enough times. It has to work with both central office and at the building. Because when you're making changes like this, when you're asking people to dig deeply inside, to take a look at their instructional practices, to take a look at their own biases, you got to be able to trust that person.
Assistant Superintendent Chen said in addition to hiring the DEI coach, the district is also working on a statewide teacher diversification project to hire and retain more teachers of color. And the school committee is now pouring through a draft budget for fiscal year 2025 that came in at about $67 million, about 9% higher than last year's $61 million budget. That might sound like a big jump, but it's actually in line with the school's budgeting process, which is to let principals and program heads ask for what they need and then pare the budget back to the town's guidelines of 4.5% increase. Superintendent Dr. Conti explained the unusual procedure.
We are actually budgeting with the school committee sort of in public and also with the Ways and Means Subcommittee. So, Mr. Brooks, just because you're relatively new to this, when we first started, we would receive a guideline from town, which we've already received. We would work with principals. We would make all the reductions, get down to guideline, and then present a guideline budget to the school committee. The feedback that we got is there was too much agreement because if we were presenting a guideline already, the school committee didn't feel like they were hearing directly from people at the buildings.
Dr. Conti said the context of the budget also matters, and it's been a particularly difficult year to come to solid numbers. With the district in negotiation with the teachers union, salary numbers may need to change, and there have been major cost increases, like a 16% increase to the bus contract, and then the end of the COVID-era funding that supported some school operations, COVID-era funding from the feds. The budget is so tight, he said, that he's still not giving inflationary adjustments for everyday supplies, even though the cost of something as ubiquitous as a box of printer paper has gone up by about 27%. If you need some new duds in town, you're liable to head over to the Burlington Mall. Now there's an option there for medical professionals looking to freshen up their wardrobe too. Varys Conley and Tad Stefanak have this story.
Burlington healthcare workers have a new place to look professional, comfortable, and good. All right. Beloved Scrubs in the Burlington Mall.
I've been in the healthcare field for over 20 years. As a healthcare provider, you want to be comfortable at all times when you're taking care of, loved ones. I've worn many scrubs, many different brands, and I feel like wearing, you always need to have something that is comfortable, and you're able to move and yet still look good in it while you're doing your jobs, right?
We're really excited to be able to welcome Beloved Scrubs here at the Burlington Mall. One of the things that we really pride ourselves on is being able to help to incubate small retailers and grow them into bigger retailers, and being able to invite a new concept like Beloved Scrubs into the property.
And Beloved Scrub is a locally owned, women-owned, Black-owned, and it's just something that's been on my heart for a very, very long time. And after COVID, it became more and more clear that I needed to do this, and then this was the perfect business.
I think when you think of Burlington business, you think of Leahy, you think of Oracle and Keurig and the big employers, but the truth of the matter is there are so many small businesses here that really rely on each other to be successful.
It's exciting for us. They're one of between 30 and 40 small businesses that are here at the Burlington Mall. It's surprising. Most people don't realize we have that many local owners, but we're really proud of that fact.
The mall is more vibrant than ever, and to be able to really make an impact to a small business owner by coming through, by buying a few things, and by saying hello and welcome to Burlington.
We're open. Just come in and get your scrubs. Look good in your scrub gears. Because I do feel you look good, you feel good, you'll do good.
From Beloved Scrubs in the Burlington Mall, I'm BNews reporter Tad Stefanak with Varys Connolly.
Visitors to Burlington Senior Center recently had the chance to hear about an important piece of American history, Operation Magic Carpet, at a meeting of the Burlington Historical Society. Volunteer reporter Luke Marcasoli has this report.
The evening of March 7th, the Burlington Historical Society welcomed guest speaker Daniel C. LeClaire, a retired teacher and veteran, for a presentation on Operation Magic Carpet.
I wanted Dan LeClaire to come because I'm familiar with his work, his talks. He's a very, very knowledgeable, valuable person, and he has so much information. He was formerly a high school teacher, but he also was in the Yankee division and actually in the Army. And he was here last year, and we had a program. It was all about Normandy and the troops landing, and I'd like him to come back again sometime.
Operation Magic Carpet was an effort by the U.S. War Shipping Administration to extract the U.S. soldiers from Europe and help them acclimate back to normal life, housing them aboard naval ships.
We wanted to be sure that those soldiers, when they came home, we did everything we could to make them feel like they were at home. They all created activities. They had boxing matches, they had food served, they were playing cards. They kind of said, hey guys, just relax and talk. And mostly, the important thing was they got to talk out what they experienced.
LeClaire believes Operation Magic Carpet is a prime example of patriotism and shows the importance of returning to normalcy after war.
I'm proud of this country. I'm proud of what we did. We did it well. We worked hard. We came back. We didn't linger on it. We built a new economy. The idea of millions of men coming home, not knowing what's going to happen to them, haven't seen a lot of trauma and a lot of pain. For the most part, fighting wars is not fun. It's negative. It's a downer. It's not exactly what you want to do for a living. And they got back here, and what they were able to see was hope.
From the Murray Kelly wing of the Human Services Building, this is Luke Marcasoli for BNews.
From the past to the technological future now, as Burlington High School's Robotics Club makes big moves with their custom-made robot. This capable little device, which they're calling Inferno, is headed this weekend to a competition at Reading Memorial Hospital and next weekend to a competition in Revere. We wish the Robotics Club the best in their events. The Cambridge Street Gallery is exhibiting 9 paintings by the late artist Phil Young. Phil taught painting and drawing for over 30 years at Burlington High School and served as the chair of the art department. Phil's wife, Lorraine Sullivan, who also was an art teacher in Burlington, is donating the sales of his paintings to the Burlington High Art Department Scholarship Fund. The Cambridge Street Gallery will be open Thursday, March 21, from 5 to 7 p.m. right here at the Burlington High School. You may be familiar with March Madness, but what about Minute Madness? There's a competition between libraries in Massachusetts to see which town's residents can read the most. Burlington won last year, and it has its title to defend. Anyone can log their minutes, read to keep the town in the fight. Go to burlingtonpubliclibrary.org to find out how and log your minutes. And now let's turn to Anthony Matos for the latest in high school sports.
Hey everyone, I'm Anthony Matos, BNEWS Weekly Sports Report. The winter season came to a close at BHS. Lady Devils cheerleading came in second place out of 11 with 92.2 points in the state championship on March 10th. Congrats ladies on a great winter season. Girls ice hockey was in the Elite Eight. For more, we go to BNEWS Sports reporter Robert Paris.
Lady Devils ice hockey had a remarkable season. Most notably, it was historic as they went 19 wins, 2 losses, and 2 ties.
I don't think there's ever another team in the history of Burlington hockey that will ever pump out 19 wins. This was a magical season. You know, they had a great year. Everyone we played them well. We played tough tonight. You know what I mean? It just didn't go our way. I think they created a lot of good memories for themselves. Again, the friendships are the real memories. And I think they did a really good. Our locker room was probably the closest locker room I've had in the 5 years I've been here. And I think that's due to the senior leadership, of course. And I think they've created a lot of good memories and a lot of good friendships.
In the playoffs, they defeated Medway 5-1 and Plymouth South 8-0. But the season came to an end in the Elite Eight round with the Marshfield Rams after the girls had a 2-0 loss. The team will be saying goodbye to 7 of their seniors, who have made a big contribution this season.
You know, we're going to miss the 7 seniors. We're going to miss them all. They were all good people in the locker room. They're all good character people. They're all good kids, period. And I think they really showed some of the younger kids how a team goes about its business, what real leadership is. The seniors definitely provided examples of that this year.
Senior Shay McDonald has seen this program turn around throughout her time on the team. She said that the 23-24 season will live on as a legacy.
A year of records and making history, I think, for the program. It's kind of crazy to see that we started from an 0-20 season, now making it almost 19-1. I think it's really incredible where we've become, and I think that the legacy will lead on with this team. I think they'll carry on something strong.
Junior Caitlin Tremblay has learned a lot from the seniors, and now with her senior year coming up, she'll be taking the torch.
As a junior, I think the leadership, like looking up to them, they were always someone I could look up to. They always gave speeches before games that got us going. Even when we were down 2-0, they gave us the pep talk we needed to hear and keep everyone's head up and just keep positive energy all around the locker room.
As everyone goes their separate ways, they will never forget the fond memories they had at the Ice Palace.
Just putting my heart on the line every single game. You never know when's going to last. It goes by really quick, but definitely going to miss the girls and playing for my heart out there. Definitely the friendships I've made. This is my 4th year on the team as a junior, and it's kind of crazy that next year is like my last year. I started playing in 8th grade, and it's kind of crazy that it's coming to an end.
Good memories, great memories. You know, we beat Hingham down in Hingham 1-0, and a 7th grader scored the only goal. We had, our 7th graders all scored their first varsity goal this year. Those are really special memories. You know, it's sad and sour that it has to end this way, but overall, it's been a very successful season. Very successful.
We want to wish everyone the best of luck in the offseason after a great run in this year's tournament. From the John A. Ryan Arena in Watertown, I'm Robert Paris for BNEWS Sports.
Shane Sheehan, Ryan Brooks, Sean Cox, Dylan Giles, Colin Irwin, Cam Madison, Matt Conti, Charles Desmond, Alex Murray competed in the New Balance Nationals in Boston over the weekend. Sheehan finished in 25th place in the long jump at 18 feet and 9.25 inches. The sprint medley relay team of Brooks, Cox, Giles, and Irwin finished in 3:44. Lastly, the shuttle hurdles team, Matson, Conti, Desmond, and Murray finished at 33.67 seconds. For more Red Devil action, go to BCAT.org/sports and check out our Twitter page at BNEWS Sports. It's all for now. I'm Anthony Matos. Back to you guys in the studio.
Okay, Phil had a little blunder on that robotics story. The robotics club is competing at Reading Memorial High School this weekend, not at the hospital. The pattern continues, a rainy weekend followed by sunnier work week. Let's check in with Peter Brown for the weather and stay tuned for your community calendar with Gretchen Carey.
Well, hello everyone, this is Peter Brown with a look at your weather for the next 7 days. Here we are heading into the official start of spring. Yes, spring begins next Tuesday, March 19th, very late at night at 11:06 p.m. So as you go ahead, let's take a look at what the Climate Prediction Center is calling for us in terms of temperatures and precipitation. And looking at our temperature map, they're expecting us to have a chance of pretty much near to slightly above average temperatures. That might be true as we head in towards the end of the weekend and the very start of the work week, but thereafter it's going to cool off a little bit. Nothing too frigid out there, but definitely cool and breezy for this late in March. And looking at our precipitation chances, looks like they're expecting us to have just average precipitation. That's what I'm seeing as well as we head in towards the next 7 to 10 days. So as we go ahead, let's take a look at those 7 days of weather coming up. And again, starting up here on Friday, looks like unfortunately weekend's going to be kind of wet out there again. It looks like that's been a pattern over the past month and a half or so. Looks like that's going to continue kind of dreary out there. About average temperatures in the upper 40s to around 50, but with a breeze out there and the raindrops coming down, going to feel pretty raw out there. As we get in towards the start of the work week, again, our temperatures are going to cool off a little bit down to the upper 40s, but hopefully by Tuesday, as a cold front passes through and pushes all of that wet weather out, we're going to see a return to sunshine. But again, chilly temperatures, especially in the morning, especially as we get in towards Wednesday morning, we're going to be seeing those temperatures down to the lower 20s. So very chilly out there for this late in March, and just a sign that, you know, a little bit of winter is still holding on, but spring is definitely on the way. And then as we get towards the end of the period on Thursday, our temperatures rebound a little bit into the mid-40s with that sun. And then looking forward out into the next 10 days after that, looks like we're going to be settling into another, unfortunately, very wet pattern as we round out March. So everyone, get out there, enjoy the weather, and have a great week.
Hi, I'm Amy Poehler, and you're watching BCAT. Go Red Devils.
Hey everyone, I'm Gretchen Carey, and this is your Community Calendar. On March 22nd from 7 to 10 p.m., the Memorial School PTO will be having an event called Music Bingo. It's going to be a party with singing and dancing together for 5 awesome rounds. For more information, go to the following website. Also on March 22nd from 10:30 a.m. to 12 p.m., the Burlington Public Library will be having Toddler Movie Day for children 18 months to 3 years. No registration is required for this event. For information, go to the library website. On March 23rd from 7 to 10 p.m., the Burlington Athletic Boosters Club will be having Casino Night at the American Legion. For more information and tickets, go to the following website. For more community calendar events, go to bcattv.org, burlingtonpubliclibrary.org, and burlingtonrecreation.org. I'm Gretchen Carey, and that was your Community Calendar.
And as we do every week, we're finishing up with a photo sent in by a member of the community. This week's photo comes from Micah Speo. Now, the Varsity's girls' schedule, incredible hockey season may be over, but he sent in this picture from their first playoff game. Thank you, Mike. If you have a photo you'd like to see featured here, email it to us at bcattv.org with the subject line Photo of the Week. Now you've seen our photo of the week, but what about our video of the week? This week we take you behind the scenes of BHS TV's annual quiz competition, Factathlon. You'll see that. I have to sign off. I'm your host, Phil Gallagher. Thank you for watching. See you next week.
As always with Factathlon, we start with a current events question. Thank you. Current events, multiple choice. Florida is currently not struggling with which of the following? A, measles outbreaks due to communities who refuse to get vaccinated. B, college kids going wild during spring break.
That's happening.
C, mass exodus of senior citizens because the weather is so hot.
That's wrong.
Factonauts. That is incorrect. Sure. C, mass exodus of senior citizens because the weather is too hot. Or D, recurring flooding during high tides in Miami.
Let's Phil is there right now. Shout out to my dad.
All right, it was D, recurring flooding during high tides in Miami.